smoke and throw their cigarettes down that cone, and then they would pour their beer down it to put out the cigarette.
Yeah.
And so there was one point where they were like, we got to, the pile in the basement was so gross and so big. They went and found some bums down at the produce market and said, you guys can have every can down there if you'll just get them out. And they did. They came and got them.
Well, you gotta love it. You know, it's like, you know, ghetto pirates. Here's a question for you guys. Did you ever skate the unfair?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
No, I was in Thrasher. I was in the Thrasher article. I was the punk kid. No,
Right
it's
on.
because that was Bryce came through with that.
Okay, we
And
got
The Madrid team.
yeah, and well,
I
and,
was there.
no, he came through with, and then you guys came back with Klaus and Mike Smith and did the demo. Where we did that contest and had the car, and that demo was when I picked up my first sponsor when I was like 11 or 12 or something like that. But yeah, that the unfair. So yeah, I was like the only kid that was allowed to go there, and I was sworn to secrecy. I couldn't tell any of my kids that were my age.
I love that place, man. You know, I only got to ride it that one time when we were in town.
Yeah, and so the city built a whole big intersection. They tore all that out and put like a tunnel in downtown. And when they did that, we moved all that shit to the cage. We called it the cage. It was in a bunch of abandoned tennis courts.
I remember the cage.
Yeah.
I just remember that being so cool because, you know,
Down a little bit.
it was like one of the first like DIY spots.
Wait, hold on. I can't hear you. He's got the radio up too fucking loud.
We're live now. Welcome to
Welcome
Party.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just heard the germs. We must bleed.
Yeah.
And we must. We must bleed.
Well, that's part of what skateboarding is about,
Yeah,
right?
it's about bleeding. And what was the quote that Bill said? Skateboarders weren't meant to be nice.
Yeah.
We are here today with Bill Danforth, who has just disappeared.
The nomad.
But he'll be back in a second, I imagine. Yeah, we're very grateful to Bill for being here. Bill is an absolute living legend.
Amen, brother.
Alva Skates, Madrid. What else?
Big BBC, yeah, the Bad Boy Club.
Danforth.
Scum.
Scum.
Yeah.
Pro
He
Shop.
he has graced
Yeah.
Knoxville many, many times. And one of the best things about Bill is he was good friends with Jay Cowler. Rest
Yeah.
in peace.
Yeah, he was. You'll be hearing lots of Jay stories
And,
tonight.
and literally as soon as we go live, Bill vanished. Now we're on the radio and you guys can't see this, but we've got him up on Zoom and we can see his background in his garage,
Yeah,
but we can't
and
see
he's got
Bill.
a little Alva cardboard cutout
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yep.
Are we going to dedicate this to Rhett? Our
we
father.
are.
Oh, Rhett.
Buddy Rhett. I thought he sprained his ankle. I didn't realize he.
Oh,
broke
No,
it.
when I
man.
saw
Rhett,
that, I was
Rhett's
like,
sporting some hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bad. And he kept saying, guys, just come down here and pop it.
There's
pop it back
Bill.
in.
Hey, we're
All
live,
right, back
Bill.
to business.
Tell our listeners hello. Why can't we hear him?
We'll be able to hear him. He isn't talking. That's why he's there.
Are you there, Bill?
All right. So
Barely hear him. Hang on. Let me figure this out.
Hold on a minute. We're having
Technical difficulties because I
Okay,
produced
keep talking.
Keep talking, Bill.
all right.
No.
Okay, I'm working on it. What is happening?
Okay.
All right, let's just put a mic up here. Okay, go ahead.
Wait.
All right. Was there or was there not a band from Knoxville called Do or Die?
Ooh.
Do or Die?
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, that was God. Trey, if
That
you
was
send us a message to let us know who that was.
late
Trey,
80s.
remember Colonel Bacchus, Trey McReynolds, he'll know that. Hopefully he's listening to us tonight. And he'll send us a message via Instagram or send me a text message, Trey.
Were they at the Mercury or where did you see him at?
I think it was at Kevin Nicely's club.
Yeah, that was the Mercury Theater. Yeah.
All right.
And was there or was there not a bar laundry place on Cumberland?
Yeah.
Griffins.
No, that was actually
Legend
that was on Highland, right down the road from the Ramp House. It was a laundromat and a bar that would have bands.
Yeah.
One of my best memories ever was watching Crisco Bill play there, and the drummer Jason Wetzel, who is also passed, rest in peace. They finished their first set.
Jason Wetzel's gone?
Yeah. He's been dead for a couple years.
He gets up. And they're like, all right, we'll be back in a minute. He gets up from behind his drum kit, walks over to the laundry, switches out to the dryer, goes and gets a beer, then sits back down at the drum kit and starts playing. God, it was fucking awesome.
I remember seeing the guys from Impotent Sea Snakes.
Impotent Sea Snakes, yeah.
They played in Knoxville, and I did the same thing. I'm like, wow, okay. They played a couple of songs, and I'm like, well, I got to go check my laundry. Where I'm going, it's like I got to go across the street to the gas station and get a Yardbird sandwich.
Hell yeah. Yeah, the Sea Snakes, they played a couple of very infamous shows in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Well, it was crazy because when like tours overlap and you get to see somebody fucking play that you heard of, and you wouldn't expect to run into them somewhere, and it's like I ran into him in Knoxville. Right on, we're going. All
right, so
tell a little bit of history of Bill and Knoxville.
Yeah, so we were talking before the show started with Bill, and we were like, save all these stories until we get on the air. But so let's back up a little bit. And first, let's talk about Mr. Jay Kabler. He's pretty much the reason that Kickturn Party happened and is still happening. And Bill and Jay go back, what did you say, to 1980?
1980.
Yeah, give us that story again.
His family pulled up in a camper and pulled up into Endless Summer Skate Park in Michigan, and Jay jumped out and came out and skated. And like I said, our locals weren't too friendly to out-of-towners.
Yeah.
I was one that just, dug different. I just enjoyed other people coming to skate our skate park. And I'm like, wow, this guy's super cool. He's super mellow. And I'm like, hey, let's go check out some, parts of the skate park that I think you'll enjoy. There was one major pool that everybody skated, but I'm like, there's other fun hits here. And we just immediately became friends. Obviously, at that time, you wrote down each other's addresses and phone numbers, and you called each other. You sent letters back and forth. You sent little, skate zines at the time, that had, punk rock reviews in it. And he was like a pen skate pal. And up until, his passing, he was one of the few people that I stayed in constant contact with.
Yeah. Jay would always talk about you, and like anytime that we'd hang him, he's like, yeah, I talked to Bill the other day and this is happening or that's happening. And like we talked, we ran into you at Kona 40. God, that's been 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
We're actually looking forward to Kona 50. Yeah. I would say we will be there for sure. It was such a good time for 40 that we went to 45, and 45 was good, but 40 was epic, man. It was so good.
No, Jay was one of those guys that you'll never forget. You know, I could close my
Yeah.
eyes and just remember conversations we had. And, you know, yeah, I could always roll into Knoxville and contact Brian and Doug. I always knew where to find them. But you know who I wanted to see? I wanted to see Jay.
Yep. Well, everybody.
Brian and Doug had things going on all the time. But I knew Jay and I'd go hang out. He'd show me the ins and outs of Knoxville all the time. And
Oh, yeah. Jay was Knoxville. I
Yeah.
think the year that he died, he got voted by the local magazine newspaper here as what was it, Knoxville's best citizen, coolest citizen, or whatever. Jay won that year.
Yeah.
he was the skateboard ambassador to Knoxville.
Yep.
Amen.
Amen.
There's no two ways about that. You know, Brian had the shop, Doug had his whole life, and I mean, they're great friends. I'm not discrediting them at all. But you want to really go have fun and go see Knoxville, you got to hang out with Jake Kaplan.
Go find out.
Yeah.
Go find Jacob. Yeah. We had Olson on a couple of weeks ago, and we had it figured out, but something's happened since
Yeah.
then.
So
You had Steve Olson on there?
Yeah, he was on 3 or 4 weeks ago.
But that must have been interesting.
It was actually a pretty good show. He was a lot of fun.
I love Olson, man. He's great. You know, a lot of people give him shit, but I'm like, no, dude, you know, Mr. Bulky, I love that guy.
Dude, and not only do people give him shit, but he dishes out so much shit. It's great.
oh yeah,
You want to hear a good Olson story?
Yes, yes.
Okay, first of all, I don't think the guy's ever bought a pack of cigarettes in his life. He'll ask you for a cigarette. You give him a cigarette, he'll take the whole rest of the fucking pack. And it's like, Olson, I just gave you a cigarette. I didn't give you a fucking pack.
He probably took your lighter too.
He probably was the one that started all those California fires by throwing a fucking cigarette.
Oh God, I hope Steve's listening right now.
So what were some of your favorite Knoxville spots? You were talking about a little bit of that before we got on the air.
First one, Paper Mill Ditch.
Oh
Yeah.
Wallows.
We call it the Wallows after the real Wallows, but it's called Wallows here too.
They still
You got to know what road it's off, or you'll never find it.
Yeah. We still skate it regularly. It's still a happening ditch. It's changed a little bit probably since the last time you saw it, where they redid the interstate, but it's still a super happening skate spot. And
Yeah.
JD and we talk about this all the time. It's our favorite spot. in Knoxville.
I love it.
It's
I would rather skate there than
and
Knoxville.
believe it or not, Bo Shane actually comes out. We call him the Sasquatch because it's like if you see him, it's like a rare sighting. But you tell him that you're having a Saturday morning session at Wallows, and he'll show up.
And those kids have put on some pretty good concrete. Yeah.
Yeah, the local next generation has been pouring concrete out there, and they've done a pretty good job.
Heck yeah.
I mean, I remember riding there before I even met the Knoxville guys.
Wow.
Because on our trips to Florida every year, my family used to stop at that Holiday Inn that was right there on Paper Mill Road.
Wow.
And I found that, God, I discovered that, and I'm like, wow, that's a place I can go fucking skate, you know. And it was before I had met anybody from Knoxville. And then all of a sudden, you know, I ended up meeting Jay, and he's like, oh yeah, that's Wallows.
Yeah, Wallows is.
I always call it Paper Mill.
Yeah. Well, and you know, the TDOT or whatever Department of Transportation would come in and mow it all down. I don't know every couple of years, which sucked because then all of a sudden people could see it from the road for a
Yeah.
well, they haven't mowed it down And yeah,
This is
that's
Jay.
Jay at the Wallows.
About a month before he passed away.
That's my daughter in the background.
About a month before Jay passed away, skating Wallows.
Yep. Yeah, that's Sid in the background. Sydney, if you're listening, you just got plugged on the Zoom call.
I remember you had the Maryville skate park.
Yeah, concrete surf.
That was his home turf. Yeah.
Yeah, I skated that.
Heck yeah. I lived
Back
a mile away
when,
from
I mean,
I didn't skate
not
it.
the best.
I skated it when it was secret and you had to break in for it.
that pool was gnarly, wasn't it? The coping in it.
Yeah, it was. But at the time, you weren't picky. You know,
No, heck no.
So where you're in Florida now, right?
I'm in Florida now, but I grew up in Detroit.
Okay. How'd you end up in Florida?
Good question. I foreclosed in my house in Detroit after being there 25 years, and I was just like, you know, I bounced around some places in Michigan, and I'm like, I was like 47, and I'm like, I gotta find some fucking place to move.
Yeah.
And a friend offered me a job to come down here and build a building for her because she was opening a retail store. So I'm like, yeah. She's like, you can live into it. And I'm like, all right, I'll come down and I'll build it. You know, I honestly had no place to go. And in the meantime, I had met a girl online that I knew, 30 years ago. That's my new wife.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
We've been together 10 years now. I kind of adopted her kids. They're all grown now. One's in the Navy. The other one's a punk rock fucking skater kid.
Yeah.
And we've been happily married ever since, And it was just crazy luck because, I had met her at a GWAR show or an SNFU show or something in Orlando. And I gave her my Alva shirt. And next thing you know, 30 years later, I'm married to her.
Cool.
Awesome. That's a cool story.
What part of Florida are you in? What part of Florida? What city?
I'm in DeLand. I'm
Land.
between Orlando and Daytona.
Cool.
But no, it's just crazy. It's like, I had lived in Florida in the past, so I kind of knew what to expect. But, as a quote retirement place, I still work two jobs. I work building management, janitorial, and construction. It's like, I never had a family. I never had kids before this. And, I got my stepkids when they were like 9 and 11. So I spent most of the years I never had becoming a parent. And man, that's a fucking full-time job.
Hell yeah, it is. I got 4 girls, man. I know what it's like.
Oh, God bless you.
Well, the youngest one is 18. The rest of them are out of the house. I've only got one still in the house, but yeah.
Well, no, you had to get them to that point.
Oh, at one time, all 4 of them were teenagers living in the same house at the same time.
Having the period at the same time.
With their mother. Yeah.
You win the Dad of the Year award.
Well, only 2 of them are my biological, and then 2 of them are my stepdaughters, but they're all 4 my daughters. I mean, I've had
it doesn't matter.
2 stepdaughters have been with me for so long now that I don't see there's no line.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you're the father figure.
Yeah.
There,
Only
look at
one
me
of them
giving
picked
all
up
parental
skateboard.
advice.
Ah, look who we got in the back.
All right.
We got one of our cronies just showed up. He's like, man, I won't say anything, but can I come and just watch Bill Danforth? Fucking legend.
Over there,
Right. No, over here, Todd.
Hey, bring him on camera.
Yeah.
There he comes.
Occupying Clay's chair.
All right, Bill.
Nice.
This is Todd. His
Nice Thrasher shirt. You get that on Amazon?
No, my wife's parents did. I'm so poor. I can't buy a Thrasher shirt on Amazon.
Just what I
Oh,
do.
the
What
last
I
I saw him last week. He was wearing a fucking Taylor Swift hoodie.
hey, do what I do. Knock off the Thrasher sweatshirts and print them in your garage.
Right?
Hey, that's what we do with Kickturn Party.
They're too poor to give me a Kickturn Party sweatshirt yet, so I'm just
So I'm going to break in because people do listen.
Okay.
All right. We got to play fucking
They
music.
want to play a
We
little
got to
bit
play
of punk
music.
rock. So we're here with Bill Danforth, and we're going to be back with Bill Danforth if he wants to stick around.
All
We
right.
hope
Put
you
some music on.
Yeah.
Here goes some tunes. Thanks for listening to the Kickturn Party.
Kickturn Party tonight! Kickturn Party tonight!